Welcome, CityState 2 fans, to CityState 2 with Omnius Prime. Episode 7, Taxes, Supply and Demand for Dummies, version 1.2.0d. Now, as I'm getting started here, like I say, that usually when you come back into a screen, into the city, slums build up real quick. And of course, I have one right here. Now, if you'll notice that this slum changed the elevation of that hex right there behind it. Okay? That's another little lesson I've been wanting to impart upon people. And there I'm using the wonderful terrain tool to level that boo-boo out. Now, while I'm on the subject of terrain changes, let's come over here, okay? I discovered the hard way. Now, you see there's no walkway here on the right between the street and this pedestrian alley. If I ran the pedestrian alley down from the pedestrian alley near the building here down to the park, yeah. What would happen is the walkways, the pedestrian alleys would try to marry up, and they would change elevation. So this walkway that's going down the hill here to this little yacht club thing here would change the elevation, would elevate back up to the elevation of this avenue area. Okay, so I learned the hard way, and then I had to, bulldoze the alleys on both sides, and I had to do the elevation change manually again before I could put the walkway down. So you have to be very careful about elevation changes. And I kind of wish that, this is one thing I'm hating about slums, because in a prior video, there was actually a segment where I was going through and deleting slums, but in the bottom left-hand quadrant of the screen, I could see there was an elevation anomaly where the elevation had popped up. And as soon as I deleted the slum, that elevation anomaly just disappeared. It was like it almost was covering up part of an office building or something. So, now, let's get back to the subject at hand, which is going to be taxes, supply, and demand. As you can see, what I've done is I basically have put in the avenue structure for the rest of this city. I decided, okay, I'm just going to extend out the port area, so I've got room to build a few more ports. So now, my dilemma, okay, let's come back to the economy panel, is now I've got this import-export problem, okay, that minus 17.1%, okay. I guess what it is it's going to be, I have way too much demand and not enough supply, so I'm importing too much. And that's what we're seeing here with the negative on the imports-exports. Now, what I've been complaining to Andy about this, and so what he's said was, how about if I give you a tool tip? So something where, like, maybe if we, mouse over this minus 17.1 red figure on the imports-exports line, it would maybe tell us supply and demand. Because remember, retail and office create demand. Basic and advanced manufacturing create supply. So it's that simple. Now, over here on the left here, I'm starting to look at this now as the Wheel of Fortune. Okay? Now, sadly, it's not being presented to you by the lovely Vanna White of the American television game show Wheel of Fortune. You're just going to have to put up with this old grizzly accountant from California here, explaining how this all is going to work. And this economy, it's instead of a chart, it's kind of like it's also a flow chart. Because you'll notice like you've got a arrow going from exchange rate here to the basic manufacturing exchange rate. Down here at the bottom on inflation, you've got a little line going down. It kind of like runs along the basic manufacturing, then comes out along to the left. You see inflation on the top of the advanced manufacturing. So here are two effects to the manufacturing that we can affect. If I want to increase basic manufacturing, I kind of have to like trash my dollar. If I want to increase advanced manufacturing, I have to decrease inflation. Inflation is bad. So I've got to try to find a way to here create a more optimal environment for whoa, oh yeah, the numbers are way backwards. I'm going to have to run some clock here because it's like I looked at the education effect on basic manufacturing, and that's supposed to be a negative. Here, let's run a little clock. There you go. Now these are the numbers. See what I say about the numbers can be a little suspicious in the beginning? That was a perfect example. Okay, so the exchange rate here can lead to, now if I trash my exchange rate and make it like 5.99, then my exchange rate negative will go down a whole bunch. Okay. Inflation, same thing here. If I make inflation high, it's going to have a high negative effect on advanced manufacturing. So I'm trying to create a balance between exchange rate and inflation, okay? So I have to look at this middle area of trade balance. So what I'm looking at doing now, I'm down to 16.9% on imports and exports. But my, as you can see, my ports and airports is only at 3.9%, so I don't have much here. Down on the bottom right-hand corner of this screen, you have participation rate, 71.9%, GDP per capita, 256.3K, and GDP growth, which is right now showing at 0. So what I want to do now is decrease this import-export number, okay? And what I'm going to do is here, what I did is I created a brand new, this is, 2 quadrants, and here's a big block here. Now, since I've laid out roads down here, that's going to be residential, but I'm not going to add some residential quite yet, okay? So what I want to do right now is kind of just build up business. Now, there isn't any retail or office being built. This is all just going to be manufacturing. I found an oil well and a gas mining well to build, but otherwise everything else is going to be hopefully advanced manufacturing, because that's where my bar is. So, and I was talking about taxes, okay? Taxes, the first word in the title. So now I'm going to have to do some creative tax work. I want to boost up basic and advanced manufacturing. Retail. Now retail it creates big demand for supply. Okay, so what I want to do is, while I'm going to boost retail, come back here, because remember, retail is going to both boost advanced and basic manufacturing, and then the manufacturing is going to boost the office. So I want to boost the office. So what I want to do is not boost retail so much, want to get advanced manufacturing boosted more, basic a little bit more, so that I actually get office built up. Now, office requires education. Education is good for advanced manufacturing, but it's going to be bad for basic manufacturing. Okay. Um, so what I'm going to do down here, what I want to do is to boost. I also want to raise GDP per capita. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1-point cut to the lower class, a half-point cut to the middle class. So now I've got a 2-point gap between lower and middle and upper. Now at some point I may decide to drop down a little more. I'm going to raise my retail tax a little bit. I'm going to lower my office. I'm going to go 2 full points on basic and 1 full point on look at my stability score. It says 9. Okay, you're not really supposed to do this. This many changes like all at once. So this is just dropped my stability score way low. Okay? But now what I'm hoping to do is build up some retail demand from the lower and middle classes by cutting their taxes, but offsetting that gain by raising retail tax 0.5%. Okay? I want to reduce my office tax by 1 full percent. I want to raise up that demand. Basic, I really want to help the most, so I'm going to drop it down to 1%, gives me 10% demand instead of 8. The advanced manufacturing is going to give me a +9, dropping it 1 point down to 2%. And of course leaving the property tax alone. Now, okay, I still am making a profit, okay? Now, the other thing that I did is I built a bunch of schools and hospitals, police station up in this area here, so I can start filling this in. Yeah, I'm going to increase my education score. I want to increase my security and hospital scores. So what I'm going to do is see if I can't raise GDP with these tricks, and also cut down on the number of ports I need. Now, speaking of ports, and I had a low percentage there, I'm going to, add some more ports. That's what I built this area for. So let's just go ahead and add a port here. Now I'm going to try something. I'm going to try putting them right next to each other. I noticed that sometimes the ports, when there's a gap in between the ports, the ships will try to go in here. And this is what I like to call, here's my freighter dance. And I wonder if these guys are just going to go off the edge and disappear. Yep. Okay, so now they go off the edge and disappear. Yesterday when there was a blockage, what they were doing is this stuff. The cha-cha-cha right here, It's like a conga line, and then they turn around and they do the cha-cha-cha. This is now, Andy, do not freak out, okay? I have seen this for decades in computer games that have ships and stuff, and do kind of simple pathing and stuff. So don't feel bad, Andy. This is not something that you've done, that only you have done. I've seen this, like I said, for decades in games, and so I do like what I call the freighter dance in this game. And now here I've got an exit. Now let's see, where are we at? Ooh, down to 17,000. Yeah. Now let's take a look at the economy chart. And look at that, ports and airports. Look at that. The trade balance here is now 0.9. The inflation 1.4. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually, the inflation effect on advanced manufacturing is a +2%. Okay. Now, the basic manufacturing's tough. Okay. So now let's just see. Now I've already gone up from 255 or 6 to 258, even though my GDP growth is not showing. You can see my participation rate is going up as this little area is building up. Okay, and whoopsie, let's come back here. Now down to 14.4%, so I am on the right track. So what I need to do is just keep building manufacturing and stuff. So I'm going to come back in a little while. I'm going to add some more population. I'm going to add a lot more manufacturing and stuff. And let's see if I can't solve the problem of my excessive vacuum again. And good thing I write some of these things down for me to mention in this video. One of the new fixes that Andy put into this 1.2.0 version, prisons have an increased capacity now at 1250. It used to be like 550. Okay, and what you have to do is you have to rebuild the prisons. So if you've got an existing city, your old prisons will still show the old 550 capacity. So you have to bulldoze it and then rebuild a new prison in its place. And yeah, so that works really good. Another new fix, I kept telling Andy that, wow, you know, it's really user unfriendly to have to move the mouse cursor over to click on the little red X to exit. I wish we could use the escape key to leave the building. And yes, Elvis left the building with the escape key. Thank you, Andy, for listening. So that's another neat little fix that that Andy did. Now, while I'm here looking at a highway, I sent Andy a picture of my little highway system and stuff, and I said, had a little caption on the email of "Make highways great again." And what I'm kind of wondering is, why highways? I mean, what do they do for me, Andy? I mean, they don't seem to carry much in the way of traffic. So I'm kind of wondering, as the Germans would say, was ist los? So I'm kind of wondering, what do highways do for us? Will that increased capacity translate into improved traffic capacity? And what about inner-city connections? You know, one thing I'm thinking about is, why aren't you making it so that we have an incentive to connect highways up as highway connections between cities? Although, to be honest, after my experience with intercity travel for job seekers, I'm pretty close to wanting to not connect cities anymore by road. So hopefully Andy can do something to stop a low unemployment city from sending workers over to a higher unemployment city next door, and just making the problem worse and worse with the low unemployment, which then screws that city up. You know, and then when you're trying to kill jobs and create population to fix the problem like you used to in prior versions, now you can't. Let's see now, what else? We got that, we got that. Okay, so now back to the task at hand. You can see that my unemployment rate is now down to 4% because, you know, I was building up business, especially manufacturing and stuff. Because remember, I'm now at 1.392 million. I started off at about 1.345, so I've gained about 47,000 in population. Okay. I just laid in some housing here. I just laid in some housing here. I built a new block. And these bottom two quadrants, as you can see, are going to be residential. And yeah, now I'm just doing schools and high schools. Look at my education scores up to 85, health 92, security 94. So I've been deciding to heck with it. I'm just going to jack up my city services and stuff, crank down my unemployment, okay? And what's going on with, remember my ongoing whine about imports and exports, okay? So here, I've gotten from 18%. You know, I was up at 18.5%, and I think I started out around 17.8% when I left the last the last video. I am now down to minus 8.3%. You see my exchange rate, and the port excess capacity is now overwhelming my import imbalance. Okay, now here's a cute little trick. Exchange rate. Look at that. What it does to basic manufacturing, right? So what do I want to do? Whoops, let's come over here. If I were to sell dollars, okay, look, I'm selling dollars, but I'm not bouncing up my inflation rate, okay? Because now I can start reducing my exchange rate reduction here on basic manufacturing and still cover the trade balance. Okay, I can sell some more. So this is starting to get really fun, you know. Let's try that. Okay, now let's go back and look at the economy chart. Okay, I'm still a little on the positive side. Let's go ahead and run a little clock, and now you can see how that minus is now minus 18, 17 instead of minus 25. Okay, notice I still have the super low inflation. Okay, so now I'm really starting to get the hang of this game. Okay, and I can see, you know, help my basic manufacturing and stuff. Like I said, that GDP per capita needs to be in red. And now GDP growth, it went from 3 to 0, but my participation rate 76.6, so I got that up. GDP per capita is 263, so it's going up. Okay, my water shortages. Okay, stop the clock. Now I need to add a water supply. So I'm going to come in here and see how if I put it right here, I could have it facing the street sideways. Okay, if I place it here, it wants to grab the avenue, and that's where I wish I could use the tab key. And there, that takes care of the water for a while. Okay, now how am I doing here? As you can see, Andy's got to be, are you cringing now, Andy, watching how I do all this massive zoning? And now I'll just let the clock jam, man, and just let all of this build up over time, you know. It'll all sort itself out. But I just kind of, yeah. Now, let's take a look at ports. Traffic, 21,105. Now, I just added 2 ports, dropped it down to like 17,000, okay? So I've got a question here, Andy. Riddle me this. If I've been dropping my imports, why hasn't my port traffic been reducing? I mean, I should have seen, you know, my thinking was I should have seen a good reduction in port traffic now that I'm building up more manufacturing and importing less. And I'm not seeing a reduction in port traffic like I was expecting to. because now I should be importing less. I should be using less port traffic. And now here I am. The other thing that I've been doing is this top row here along the avenue. That's commercial, retail, and office. That's demand. And the rest of all of this. Now it used to be that I would on the left along the avenue, I would zone commercial. In between along the avenue, I would zone commercial. You know, now I'm zoning industry, manufacturing. I'm learning slowly but surely that I've got to do a better job of balancing how I zone my commercial, which is demand. Okay, see, like that's minus 188. And here I'm a plus 72. So like for this retail, you see, um, I'm going to need a bunch. Now that's stage 3 out of 4, but you'd see I'd need almost 3 of these advanced manufacturings and this is only level 3 out of 5 to do this retail. Now this office at 4 out of 6, it's only minus 44. So now this is why I'm saying. I'm starting to look at the switch between retail and office. Is that the more retail that I build up and stuff, then yes, the demand for more manufacturing increases. So now what I'm looking to do is find clever little tricks that are going to help me reduce retail and pump up office. And of course, if you don't want to do tax policy, we could do, don't want to do taxes, we could do custom policies. Here's another fix that Andy made, okay? Now, before, my cities would always be like a plus 24, plus 33 to the right on the net effect of policies. Now it's correctly showing that I've got a plus 16.3 net effect on my policies. Another player had told Andy about this. You know, I was looking at that and I was wondering, the policies I pick, I should be more left-leaning than right. But I didn't, I just didn't think that to look and kind of look at the math. And but yeah, so now this is another fix that thanks to another user who reported the bug, and so now I've got this a plus 16.3 on the left-hand side, which is more reasonable. Okay, so let's see. Basic manufacturing. I want to increase it so I can go up a point. Now retail. I want to decrease it. Okay, so let's call this retail reduce, basic M boost. Okay, and it looks like there's no cost. I don't see any available points, so let's go ahead and just do that. Let's do another one here. This is going to be reduce, retail reduce, but this time let's do office boost. And now what we're going to do is reduce retail, and we're going to boost office. Now, it looks like I've got a little extra here. Where do I want to take something off the top a little bit? How about social ladder? I've got tons of social ladder. Oh, wow. Okay. So let's Oh, okay. I can, how about economic freedom? Ooh, yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to reduce retail, boost office, and get a little bit of economic boost out of the deal. One sad thing here is that we can't do anything with right and left. What I, and I talked to Andy about this before, and what I wish, even if you just let us set the right left for these policies, because I think it would take some pretty fancy programming um, to affect left right as we click these buttons up and down and stuff. So I wish we could do that ourselves and have it maybe just cost on the points available. So let's enact that policy. So this is another clever little way to do things. The other thing that whoopsie I'm going to do now is reduce my taxes here 1%. Now, here's some tax truths. A flat tax is not a fair tax. It's only fair to the upper class. Least fair to the lower class. Okay, in the middle, it's also not fair. Progressive tax rates are the fairest. Okay, the people on the top, they have the most disposable income. People in the lower class, they have the least. So if you tax the lower class, you're killing their economic demand. Okay. USA. In the fourth quarter, GDP growth was 6.9%. In the first quarter, GDP lost 1.4%. Did Biden do something wrong? No. What happened is at the end of the fourth quarter, December 31st, a bunch of these stimulus packages that were passed to help poor people, giving poor families more money for the child credits and stuff like this. Those expired. So in the first quarter, those people that had that nice government spending that was actually helping to boost the economy, they lost that money. And what happened to the economy? It lost GDP growth. Okay, so Keynesian economic theory is far more correct than Austrian economic theory. Let's go ahead and close this. Let's go ahead and start running clock. Okay, Austrian economic theory, which nowadays is called libertarian economic theory in America, is very naive. It ignores one super important fact: human nature. The Austrians think that, and libertarians think that economic freedom, that the businesses will somehow self-regulate, and that they will take care of problems, they won't cause problems. No, it's all about the money, honey. And businesses will lie, cheat, steal, pollute. They will do anything to make money for the people at the top. So human nature is what kills the Austrian theory, economic theory. Just look at all of the modern day robber barons like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and the remaining Koch brother. Those people didn't get rich by being smart. They got rich by being greedy. Okay? There's some clown named Charlie Munger, 98 years old. He's still working. He's still pumping money out of all of us. I mean, at what point is enough enough? And sadly now, because of Satan Reagan's trickle-down economic theory that was brought to us by some clown named Lafler, the legacy of trickle-down economic theory over the past 40 years in America is that our country has gotten $29 trillion more in debt than it was when Satan Reagan started, when our national debt was $1 trillion. So and now the rich and greedy, You know, they have wealth beyond belief. So trickle-down economic theory is all wrong. Uh, and flat taxes, yeah, that's not a fair tax. So as you can see, okay, my stuff, let's just see where we're at now. Boy, I'm down to like 17,000 monthly cash flow, but I don't care because let's come over here. Let's go budget screen, okay? I've got 3% going up to the national, okay? Ooh, which brings me to a new topic, okay? So I still could decrease my national contribution and make money. So so now my inflation has gone up to 2.5%. Let's take a look. Okay, so what I need to do now is, whoopsie toodles, let's go ahead and buy a little money, buy a little USD. Okay, and now I'm just kind of, look at how I'm playing it now. The trade balance 0.3%, and so I got that -2. Oh yeah. And now it's at 109. That's kind of tough. Retail growth bonus is 11, but office is 39. Advanced manufacturing at 101. So yeah, it's looking really good on the economy front. Population front. Well, my park score is still 0. I stopped building pedestrian alleys and stuff. I just trees now. So traffic congestion, I have now 1.470 million people. Traffic congestion, 43%. Are you kidding me? Let's take a look at the traffic. And yes, I do have some red here and there, but they're mostly on connecting streets. And the thing is like, see here where I have manufacturing, I could go in and take out the tree-lined streets and replace them with roads. Okay, come on, there you go, see? So in some of these industrial areas, like right here, yes, I can. And I think what I'll probably do is run some clock and then just kind of like go through here and pop some roads in and stuff in the industrial areas, and then see how it works on my traffic congestion. But yeah, I'm starting to really get the hang of the game, you know. Now let's see, what's my port traffic look like? 21,573, and how am I doing with, I'm at 10.3. So I need to put in a little more manufacturing. And as you can see, I've got plenty of advanced manufacturing. It looks like as you can see, I don't have too much retail and office demand, and which is good because you see I still have boy, that just really jumped down in scale. As you can see over here, I've got a bunch of manufacturing that's been zoned, but it hasn't started building yet. And I don't care. It'll build, and it'll take care of this advanced manufacturing. Oh, a number. Oh, wow. Ooh. Numbers here. 469. Okay, and what's this say? 420. Oh, minus 400. Okay, 1,500. 2,500. 3,000. 3,500. Wow. So if you mouse over these little letters corresponding to the different zoning types, it'll give you a numerical demand value. That's something I never knew before. So, you know, doing these videos is a learning experience for me. So, looks like my city is growing real nice. I'm back to 100 stability. Look at that, inflation is down because I can turn around and play around with my exchange rate. Okay, let's this is almost like taking candy from a baby. Ooh, which reminds me, Andy, the theory of relativity is not only associated with Einstein in physics, okay? Relativity it should be important in this game. And one of the things I'm finding is it's not. Like this buy and sell of dollars. It's a kind of a very low fixed scale. It does not take into account here's my total income at like 669,000. So it's not relative, to my income, okay, not relative to my economy, okay. So that's just one of the things. I mean, to make it relative would be very difficult. The same with like the inner city travel is trying to make it relative to something. Right now, the way it works, it's just too tough to now balance. There should be a cutoff so that when the unemployment rate drops at below 5%, no more inner city travel for jobs. That way, if we have a low unemployment rate in the city, we can fix it by getting rid of jobs and increasing population. So inner city travel definitely needs some work, and there's something with this port business here that needs some work, because I haven't gone up and looked at my total capacity on the city map, but it's just like, if I've been reducing my now see I'm down to minus 9.5. So if I'm reducing my port capacity, my imports, then somehow I shouldn't be having so much port traffic. Because this is what I'm saying is that, the port capacity either needs to be jacked up to 50,000, but then that could mean that we have to build all new ports to get the 50,000, or your multiple in your equation to multiply port capacity to get to the city level and nation level, that needs to be jacked up somehow. I'm going to be back, and let's see what I do next. Okay, I'm just about ready to wrap this up. I wanted to point something out here. As you can see, Omni Secundus now has a population of 1,789,000. Wow. Couple of problems here now. I've been building up my city, and last time I saw this inner city travel, it was at like 21,000. Now I'm at 72,000. My unemployment rate, here it says 4%. When I last left the game, it was 5%. It's always 1 percentage point lower here in the city screen than it is in the city. Okay, here it says 3% go into the city, it'll say 4%. Okay, here's another kind of oddity. Here I have 192,000 GDP per capita, 9% high income. Here I have 262, significantly higher, 70,000 higher, and yet I only have 7% high income households. Okay, so it's really strange, and I have much lower tax rates here in Omni Secundus than I do in Omni Prime. I actually was cutting down tax rates at the end and stuff, and seeing if I could pump up the high income percentage a bit. But one thing that really kills me is that I've been cutting down the import percentage, okay, by building more manufacturing compared to commercial. So I've been reducing my import needs, yet my shipping is just going through the roof. you know. Now, in the nation, I still have a little bit of capacity up here. About what? About 300, a little over 300. But one thing is why do I have so many people going from inner city job hunting, like from Omni Secundus over here to Omni Prime, where I've already got a really low unemployment rate. The same as when I was trying to fix Omni Prime, um, because it had a low unemployment rate. I bulldozed 20 to 30,000 jobs, added 140,000 population, and actually went from fluctuating between 3 and 4% in the city to fluctuating, between 2 and 3. Finally, it seems I've got it up a little, maybe. Um, but right now, inner city travel is working. I don't like how it's working. It's kind of like already I'm kind of thinking I'm finished with inner city travel. So, Andy, hopefully you're going to be able to do something to kind of correct this so that inner city travel is just not screwing up our unemployment rates, especially when they're low. Um, so I'm going to be back to wrap things up. Go back into Omni Secundus. You can see kind of by the city map that I have finished it. In wrapping up this episode, actually these 3 episodes that I based on version 1.0.0d, um, yeah, I finished up my city here. Look at it. Whoa, man. 1.843 million. And as you can see, I filled up the last corners over here, making a little bit of money. Let's see, what if I cut him back down? I was trying to balance the budget there, and let's see how this works. Now, let's take a look at this. I had to add another port yet again. I now have 14 ports. My traffic is 21,405 out of a capacity of 22,500. So, wow, it's just, Rabodi just asked if I ever thought about playing live on Twitch, and no. No, man. It would be too boring, takes too long. I kind of like to make sure that what I'm presenting isn't just a bunch of me going around and zoning and this and that and making it real boring. So let's take a look at the statistics. Let's come back here again. Okay, I'm still making a little money. I have dropped my interest rates on my people. Picked up a little extra approval. I'm up to 72. My inflation rate is at 1.5. I've got 900,000 in US dollar reserves. Let's come over here and we'll take a look at the economy chart. The most important thing is this trade balance. And this, I had this down like around 10%, and then I made my last build and I had it down, in the 10% range, and then the computer froze. Now I come back in, and now I'm up to like 14%. So I had to buy some dollars, strengthen my currency, okay, so that I could keep this plus 0.3% here, so that I've got that negative 0.02 trade balance effect on inflation. So as you can see, I'm really just riding it real close and stuff. My GDP per capita is now 263.2. It was down around 250 something, 255. So I've raised it up. And my basic manufacturing, boy, that's got a hit of 110%. The total growth bonus, 97% here on the advanced manufacturing. So I've been learning how to really kind of play with the economy and stuff. One of the things that I did is I went into the legislation, into custom. So what I did is I did all these freedom boost social ladder reductions, okay, where I'm boosting up economic freedom by 1 point, dropping social ladder by 1 point, okay. You can see I got a plus 8.9 here, and now I've only got a plus 1.7, and I still have 100 on my social or on my civil rights. Oh, let's see. Maybe I didn't want to be doing that. Oh, there's the civil rights. Oops. I shouldn't have been doing that. Let's just see how this goes. Whoopsie, that's going to go the wrong way. That's what I wanted to do. Civil rights. I got a ton of civil rights. I don't want to... Whoops. So no wonder I was doing the social ladder. Dummy. Oops. And not the civil rights. So, okay, let's just go ahead and fix that up. Whoops. There are a couple of things today that made a couple of boo-boos. Just trying to hurry up and finish up. Okay. Bring the social ladder back up. No wonder I wasn't getting more people going into my... There we go. Oh, I see, and it wiped out the description. Pooh Bear. There we go. And that was a nice even swap there. And I think I've done... Nope. Okay. There we go. And that's on the social ladder. I'd have to fix up the titles again here in a moment. Okay. Now, yeah, see, that's bringing that down. Let's come back here, social ladder. So what I'm trying to do, I got it up to 1.6% now. So I was trying to help with the freedom here, the economic freedom, to help try to build up my upper class. So I've been working on this now. You can see my traffic congestion right now says it's 63%. It fluctuates. It's kind of like almost like day and night. It fluctuates. So at one point it was up to 78, and then it'll drop down to like around 50. So it's always it's almost like there's a day and night cycle for traffic. So I've been really having a lot of fun here. Now, if only I wouldn't have built so many pedestrian alleys, my park score would be 120, my quality of life score would be really high, and my approval rating would be really sky high. And so I've got 36% right wing, 64% left wing, and check this out. 71% right-wing approval, 72% left-wing approval. That's pretty slick, huh? That's pretty even-handed. So I've been having fun playing with the politics and stuff. Oh yeah, let's take a look here. Slum dwellers. Now, as you can see, here's something, Andy, this is really annoying. As you can see, I've been running clock here. I have not been building any slums. Why did I all of a sudden have slums jump up? Because this is where my computer froze, dumped me out of, so I had to basically shut my computer down and start over. When I come back into a city, it automatically adds slums. So Andy, this is annoying. When I go into a city, I don't want it adding a bunch of slums for no good reason, okay? That's just really annoying. And then after I get rid of them, of course, now you can see as I'm running clock, I'm not building up slums. So, yeah, this is really, Andy, this needs to be fixed. Don't be throwing slums at us when we come right into the city. because basically now every time I go into the city, first thing I do, stop the clock, um, go into my, um, oops, let's come up here, go into my underground tracks, and then I do look around for stuff. And here we have a nice little look kind of at my traffic. So let's just take a quick, ooh, now I'm down to 4% unemployment. See, I was running clock to get that down. I got my imports down to like 13.8. My electricity is at 99. And I mean, I ended up having to build 2 solar farms over here just to kind of add a little electricity. Of course, that's kind of like, you know, hardly adding anything. And then I had 3 of these little yacht clubs over here, but then I had to, like I said, I had to build that last port, and I just I just don't understand how it's calculating the port traffic for these ports here. It's just, there's something wrong with this. But then again, you know, this is a new feature that's been added, and what Andy needs is someone like me to sit here and hop up and down on his game and create like a monster city, so he can kind of get a good idea of how the game works. So let's come up here and let's just take a quick look at the traffic. And yeah, sometimes it looks ugly. And let's take a look here at population. So now it's saying 63%, but like that's not bad for 1.84, almost 8.44 million. And you know, if there's a little bit of red, I'm not going to worry about it too much. And power outage, see, yep. And I didn't want to build another fusion power plant. That was kind of like overkill for this area, but I almost have to do it. Well, let's just go ahead and do it. I didn't want to do it, but let's just go ahead. Let's put it right there. Turn the clock back on. That might blow the budget a little bit. No, okay, still have a little bit of money. Okay, and I got tons of power. Then of course I'll need some water. I would need some water in a little while. But yeah, this is so. Andy, if you thought that Omnius Prime was fun to play with as a test bed, I'll be zipping this up and dropping it in Dropbox's Omni CityState 2C. And then Andy will have this to play with. He can look at the parks problem firsthand. He can look at the ports problem firsthand. And he's probably never played with the city with 1.844 million. So I hope that you've enjoyed this series. Now, Andy's going to have another big update coming. Whoopsie. Hopefully around the end of May. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. I'm going to take a little break and play the original CityState game, and kind of build up my enthusiasm for playing CityState 2 again. So until my next episode and Andy's next update, I hope that all of you have enjoyed this little series of videos to show how to play CityState 2.